As we know, one of the 5 components of reading is vocabulary. The Connect to Comprehension program provides explicit instruction and practice on a daily basis in learning new words. Why is vocabulary instruction and practice so critical for our struggling readers? Well, they struggle to decode, so they often read simpler texts with simpler vocabulary. And they're often not interested in reading, so they read less. Finally, they don't have a sufficient foundation in vocabulary to catch up with their peers all by themselves. So now let's look at the vocabulary elements that are incorporated into the Connect to Comprehension program. The first rung of this approach is pre-teaching important Tier 2 words with student-friendly definition. What I mean by Tier 2 words are words that are rich in meaning, that appear often in various written text, that are easy to explain in words that students know, and that can be found and used in various contexts. And for this, we use the Connect to Comprehension vocabulary deck. The words for the deck are given at each level, and teachers just make the deck using those words. And then the deck is used for playing games and for interactive activities to learn and practice these important new words. So the deck is also used for reviewing learned words at each level, and the activities for doing this are found in the scripted manuals. This review is so important because we know that struggling readers need multiple exposures to new words in order to learn them. We also know that we need to keep growing our decks. We don't want to leave any words behind, so the decks get bigger and bigger. As we work with the deck, we want to make sure that we use these words in everyday conversations with students. And if you want, you can use a word wall for additional practice and review. But the games and activities that you're going to use are in the scripted manuals. While students are learning these words, we need to make sure that we practice using them in different contexts, because true word learning goes beyond just matching a word with a definition. And so relating these words to different contexts in text and relating words to everyday experiences increases students' word consciousness. So for example, if we've learned the word brisk, we can ask students questions like, can a walk be brisk? When would you want to take a brisk walk? Could a shirt be brisk? Why not? What else could be brisk? And these kinds of questions foster the kinds of thinking that are so important in terms of expanding vocabulary. One of the best ways to help students learn new words is through games and these interactive activities that we've been talking about. And the games for the vocabulary deck are found in the scripted manuals. One of the students' favorite games that we found over the years is Show Me, where teachers take words from the vocabulary deck, put them out on the table. Students pick a word without telling their teammates and act out the word, and the other students on their team try to guess which words they're acting out. So this incorporates multi-sensory instruction into vocabulary learning, which is so important. We also need to teach words with multiple meanings, and this helps students understand how context affects word meaning, and it can help our struggling readers learn to think more flexibly. So it helps not just with vocabulary, but also with overall comprehension skills. Figurative language is a frequently used literary device, and we can teach our struggling readers to understand figurative language even as they are learning how to decode, even at the most basic level. So figurative language helps students go beyond literal understanding. And so we want to teach figurative language as it appears in the High Noon Decodable Readers that we're reading, and encourage students, once they've learned this type of figurative language, to use it in their speaking and writing. For example, one of the sentences in one of the High Noon Readers says, "The sails were like stiff sheets." So we can talk to students about how describing the sails this way will help to picture them more clearly. And after students learn about similes, like the one we've just talked about, they can practice writing their own similes with examples like the rough bricks felt like, the clear sky looked like, the baby's cries sounded like. And again, all of this practice is in the scripted manuals in the program. We also need to make sure that we are teaching prefixes and suffixes as well as roots, that structural analysis part of vocabulary learning. And this leads later on to a study of morphology. The learning of these word parts is critical, both for decoding how to read words with these parts and for learning vocabulary and comprehension. And so struggling readers should learn the meanings of the word parts while they're learning to decode them. One of the best ways to grow vocabulary is to help students make connections between words they already know and words they are learning. And this connection making helps students develop a learning web. And as new words are learned that connect to words they've previously learned, the web grows in size and complexity. For example, if students have learned the word clutch, which means to hold tightly, and then later learn the word grasp, which also means to hold tightly, we can point out that these words are synonyms that mean the same thing. And so then we can start to have students look for synonyms in their vocabulary deck words. Finally, providing instruction and practice in the use of context clues is a critical part of vocabulary instruction, because we know that every unknown word cannot be taught directly. So in the Connect to Comprehension program, not all Tier 2 words are taught initially, and the scripted lessons help students develop their own definitions of some of the words using context clues. This extensive vocabulary instruction and practice in the Connect to Comprehension program makes it a unique and powerful program for struggling readers. To learn more, visit us at our website, connecttocomprehension.com.